Tonight, the brothers of Alpha Tau Omega began their walk to Panama City Beach, Florida.
And one of China's major art masters shows her work in Montgomery. Stay tuned. TrojanVision News starts right now.
From the High Definition Production Center of Troy University's Broadcast and Digital Network at Troy, Alabama's International University, this is Troy TrojanVision News.
Hello and welcome to Troy TrojanVision News for March 4th, 2016. I'm Sarah Singletary.
And I'm Xavier Harris. Thank you for joining us this evening. Spring break for Troy University started at the end of classes today, and many students might be planning on making that major move to the beach. Well, however, 31 fraternity brothers will make that trip on foot. Jalen Bivens has a story this morning at the Walk Hard Send-Off.
31 members of Alpha Tau Omega fraternity are participating in a 128-mile walk, benefiting in the annual Walk Hard.
I'm part of this last semester watching these guys do it, and just being able to give back to our servicemen and women who sacrifice so much for us on a daily basis, and just an awesome thing to do. And you know,
the walk formed when two fraternity brothers were sitting in the most unlikely of places and got inspired to walk for a good cause.
Walk Hard started in 2009 with two of our alumni. They were sitting in a Dairy Queen. They saw a man walking on the side of the road carrying an American flag. They were inspired by it, and they said, let's try to create a philanthropy similar to this. So it started with them. They walked all the way to Panama City. Everyone called them crazy. They said, you know, I don't know how y'all are going to do that. That's too far to walk, but they did it. And since then, we've grown from having 2 walkers to 31 this year.
The fraternity has received donations through their GoFundMe account, and they've received money from other sponsors.
No, we have a GoFundMe account set up on our Facebook page. You can go to at Walk Hard on Facebook, and you can click on the GoFundMe account, and you can donate there. But a lot of the walkers had to raise a walker fee as well, and you would ask your family members or friends to donate, or you could also go to businesses and ask them to place a donation as well.
I'm excited to see just to help raise money for G. Sullivan's Wounded Warrior Project. It does a lot of really great things to help warriors rehabilitate, so I'm excited for an opportunity to kind of just get a small taste of what veterans had to go through for us. So.
Though the men of ATO walk down to Panama City, they will drive back after a 6-day trek. Jalen Bivens, Troy TrojanVision News.
The brothers expect to arrive at Pier Park in Panama City Beach on Wednesday afternoon.
This week, Troy University's Confucius Institute welcomed an artist that is considered one of China's major art masters. The art of Chen Ba-lin is now on display at Troy University's Rosa Parks Museum in Montgomery until next Tuesday. Deborah Bogart gives us a look at Ba-lin and her work.
Troy University's Confucius Institute's latest guest is world-renowned artist Chen Ba-lin. Ba-lin has been featured in exhibits in more than 50 countries, and in 2005 was named one of China's 10 major art masters.
Troy University has a long history, and also it has hosted artists like me from many different parts. So they have been committed to the communication between different cultures and the arts. So that is why I wanted to be here.
Ba-lin encourages Troy University students to come out and see her portrayal of Chinese art.
I would say welcome them all to come to my exhibition, and also I encourage them to learn something about Chinese culture and Chinese painting because it's a very special kind.
If you look at Ba-lin's paintings, you might notice all of them have something in common. They feature a noble or prominent woman in Chinese culture, an effort that she hopes will inspire future generations of women.
My painting actually falls into a very special kind of Chinese painting that is called the noble lady's portrait. And that kind of painting usually uses noble ladies as the subject.
Deborah Bogart, Troy TrojanVision News.
Ba-lin's work will be on display at the Rosa Parks Museum in Montgomery until next Tuesday. The museum is open from 8 to 5 and is located on Montgomery Street in downtown Montgomery. Troy University students are getting ready for their spring break, but last night some of them took a tea break.
They took time out to learn about France at this week's Tea for Troy. Chelsea Williams has the story.
The room is full of laughter and conversation even before the meeting begins. Tea for Troy, a fairly new campus organization, is definitely serving its purpose.
Tea for Troy is an international organization. We work on bringing internationals and Americans together over the commonality of tea.
Tea for Troy meetings have a very relaxed atmosphere. That and the tea help bridge the cultural gaps between American and international students.
Basically, it's just about teaching people about different other people's cultures, and then hanging out afterwards, drinking tea and playing games and getting to know people.
Tea for Troy is a way for international students to connect with American students. And though most come for the fellowship, they stay for the tea.
I just love coming to Tea for Troy. You get to mingle with a bunch of different people from a bunch of different backgrounds. You get to learn a bunch of different things about different countries, and you get to appreciate tea.
Though all Tea for Troy meetings involve drinking tea and fellowshipping, each meeting is still unique and distinct in one way.
We'll have a presenter come each week. They'll present about the tea culture of their country, and then we get to try their tea, maybe try some food with it, and you can also just take hot water and try any of our selection of teas.
This week at Tea for Troy, France was the headliner. With French music setting the mood, Tea for Troy goers learn more about the country, the language, and of course, the tea.
I talk about the kind of beverages that they drink in France. Like in breakfast, we typically either have tea or coffee or hot chocolate. Coffee being, of course, the most popular thing.
While Tea for Troy is a great way for students to get to know each other, it also serves as a platform for campus clubs and organizations with international ties, such as the French Club.
We're looking to get more members and get more people interested in, French minor, French language, traveling to France with the school, and so we thought this would be a great way to present.
By sharing a cup of tea, Troy students are learning that their cultural differences aren't so different. Tea for Troy meets every other Thursday at 7 p.m. in Howe Hall. The next meeting will be after spring break on Thursday, March 25th. Chelsea Williams, Troy TrojanVision News.
ISCO and Tea for Troy events will take off for next week, but will resume after spring break on Thursday.
And now taking a look at news from around the state. A search is resuming for two brothers who are missing after a fishing trip on the Tennessee River near Florence. An emergency management official said boats were returning to the river Friday to look for signs of 29-year-old Jeremiah Sanders and 24-year-old Jacob Sanders of Florence. The brothers went fishing Wednesday and never returned. State troopers say searchers found their bass boat trapped under a bridge early Thursday, but there was no sign of the men.
A Tuscaloosa teen has been arrested after police say he shot another teen in the head while discussing playing Russian roulette. Media outlets report that the shooting occurred February 1st at a Tuscaloosa apartment complex. A group of teenagers were hanging outside of an apartment building talking about playing Russian roulette with a semi-automatic handgun.
Selma is marking the 51st anniversary of the voting rights demonstration that came to be known as Bloody Sunday. Officials expect thousands of people to fill the West Alabama city this weekend for Selma's annual Bridge Crossing Jubilee. The event won't be as large as last year when President Barack Obama and others attended to mark the 50th anniversary of Bloody Sunday. But thousands are still expected to participate Sunday as activists and others reenact the event by walking across Edmund Pettus Bridge.
Still to come on Troy TrojanVision News, the men's tennis team is at home for the first time this season. Khadija Torbert has more details coming up in sports.
And the remaining didn't take shots at frontrunner Donald Trump. We've got that story and more coming up after the break, so stay with us.
Republican presidential challengers take their shots at the frontrunner, but many analysts question if they scored any points against Donald Trump. I'm Craig Boswell at the White House with the latest on the 2016 race for the nomination.
Looks like it's done.
Don't let salmonella get funky with your chicken. On average, 1 in 6 Americans will get a foodborne illness this year. You can't see these microbes, but they might be there. So learn the right temperature to cook each type of meat. Keep your family safe at foodsafety.gov.
The warrior spirit, it's in there. Always has been. Now let it out and take the world by fire. Train well and learn what it means to be a Troy Trojan. Walk with confidence, conquer, claim territory, and climb ladders. Know that you have the power to stand alone, but the comfort of knowing that you'll never have to. Discover your inner warrior. Find it at troy.edu/spirit.
Now, the latest in Trojan sports on Troy TrojanVision News.
After playing 12 matches on the road to open the season and also winning its last 2 matches after starting the season with 9 of its first 10 matches against ranked teams, the Troy men's tennis team has opened its home schedule playing against Chattanooga today. Chattanooga is coming off a 7-0 loss to Eastern Kentucky last weekend. The team is looking for a win against them and currently in action at the Lunsford Tennis Complex. The Trojan women's basketball team did it again. Last night topped 4 straight wins. The Lady Trojans have now improved their standings going into Sun Belt tournament. The Trojans defeated Texas State 88-73 in San Marcos Thursday night. Troy had 5 players score in double figures at Texas State. Ashley Beverly Kelly, who had a game-high 22 points, the Sun Belt's leading scorer, added 12 rebounds and 6 assists for her 8th career double-double. With just 1 regular season game remaining, Troy will either be the number 4 or number 5 seed in next weekend's Sun Belt Championship. Saturday matchup against UT Arlington will help determine their final seed.
Yeah, a very unique team because they're very different from Texas State. They do have a 6'5", so they play a lot. Every time anybody touches the ball, they automatically look inside to see if they can get her the ball, if it's a lob over the top or just sling it right inside to her. So it's a very different team. It's a unique team in the Sun Belt Conference because they're the only one with somebody that size inside that actually plays a lot of minutes. So they present 2 unique challenges to us. So I think it's really good going into the conference tournament.
The Trojans and Mavericks will tip off at 5 p.m. in Arlington. The Trojans men's basketball team did not have the same success as the women against the Bobcats last night in San Marcos. Texas State defeated Troy 78-57 Thursday night. Jonah Walton III led Troy with his 5th double-double of the season as he finished with 16 points and 11 rebounds. Wesley Person finished with 11 points and extended his streak with a 3-pointer out to 59 straight games as he connected on 2 in the game. Troy wraps up the season Saturday evening at UT Arlington. Tip-off between the Trojans and Mavericks is scheduled for 7:15 in the College Park Center. The Trojan baseball team is in a bit of a rough patch right now as they are battling a 3-game losing streak, but they will look to get over that this weekend in the Cox Diamond Classic in Pensacola. The Trojans will take on Auburn, Michigan State, and Southern Miss. According to assistant coach Brad Phillips, getting back on the winning track won't be an easy task.
We did go down to Pensacola. We've been down there the last couple of years, and we have a really tough schedule down there. We've got Auburn on Friday, Southern Miss on Saturday, and Michigan State on Sunday, all of which have gotten off to a really good start, especially Southern Miss and Michigan State. So we get another in-state rival on Friday. Rare do we get to play them on the weekend, so that's going to be exciting and should be a lot of fun.
Troy is in Pensacola for the Cox Diamond Invitational. Troy will begin play tonight at 6 against in-state rival Auburn. The softball team is coming off a weekend where they didn't lose a game on their home turf, but now the Trojans will hit the road for their tournament on the road. Even though the Trojans had traveled once already this season, it was a short trip to Tuscaloosa. Volunteer assistant coach J.C. Alfett says the Trojans are ready for their first extended stay on the road.
It's going to be different for our girls because they obviously haven't stayed in a hotel yet, so that's going to be fun. It's just roads, it's the game. So I think everyone's just going to have to get, settled into it and just remember that we play against ourselves in the game. So it doesn't really matter where we play. Of course, obviously we love to have our home crowd with us, but that's the game. We play on the road, and we're just going to keep working the process and just keep getting better for the road games this weekend.
The softball team will be partaking in a tournament hosted by Lipscomb University in Nashville, Tennessee. They will take on Youngstown State, Indiana State, Lipscomb, and Furman.